I knew something was wrong when my key didn't work. Same door, same handle, same creak when I tried to push it open, but it wouldn't turn. It was the house I grew up in, the house my mom died in, the house I'd just finished repainting for my father last month. Now I was locked out, and the woman who answered the door called me sweetheart and told me to get off her porch. That's how I found out my father had given her everything. My name's Nate. I'm 44 years old, divorced, and I live in a one-bedroom apartment 3 miles from the house I used to call home. For most of my adult life, I've done the right things. I stayed close to my aging dad after my mom passed. I helped maintain the house. I shoveled his driveway every winter, mowed the lawn every summer. And when he got diagnosed with arthritis in both knees, I rearranged my work schedule so I could be there for his appointments. I did it without complaint. Because he was my dad. Because he had given me everything when I was little. And because, somewhere in my heart, I believed he'd pass something back down when the time came. I was wrong. It started 3 years ago when he met Diane. She was 52. He was 72. They met at a seniors line dancing event. He came home giddy like a teenager, said she sparked something in him. I thought it was cute, sweet even, until he told me he was marrying her. After 4 months. I was stunned, but I didn't fight it. I just paused, tried to warn him to slow down, said it felt fast. He said I was jealous and bitter because I was divorced. Then, 2 weeks after the wedding, he called me in for a chat. We sat at the kitchen table, the one my mom picked out before her cancer spread. He looked me in the eyes and told me he had transferred the deed of the house to Diane as a wedding gift. Just like that. Not a will. Not something for after he passed. He gave her the house now, while he was alive. No discussion, no clause, no trust, just her name, solely, on the papers. I tried to keep my composure. I asked, "Why would you do that?" He said, "Because I love her. And I want her to feel secure. It's mine to give, Nate, and this was the right thing to do." I couldn't breathe. I'd spent years in that house, spent nights patching leaks in the roof when he couldn't afford a contractor, used my own money to redo the kitchen tiles, painted that damn fence 4 times, and now it was hers. Not mine, not even a split, just hers. I didn't cut him off. I couldn't. He was still my dad. And as much as I resented Diane, I still believed, somehow, it wouldn't change everything. I was wrong. Again. Diane didn't like me. She made that very clear. She called me Nate the Nag behind my back. She accused me of snooping every time I came to visit. Started locking rooms in the house. One of them was my old bedroom. Dad said she was just protective, that I was too sensitive. So I pulled away, quietly. I stopped coming by unless he asked me to. When his health started declining, early heart issues, memory lapses, it was me who took him to doctors, not her. She always had an errand or a migraine when appointments came up. When he had a minor stroke, it was me who took a week off work to stay with him. Diane. She went to Florida that same weekend to clear her head. I could feel my dad slipping, not just in body but in spirit. He stopped laughing. He stopped calling me. Sometimes I'd come by and find him staring at nothing, sitting in the den where Mom used to knit. But I stayed. I stayed through all of it. Until one day I came home from work, and there was a letter slid under my apartment door. From Diane. Typed. Cold. 2 paragraphs. Per agreement with your father, this is notice that you are no longer permitted to enter or access the property at 42 Layton Street unless expressly invited by the legal homeowner. Thank you for understanding." I went there the next day, and that's when I found my key didn't work. And Diane called the cops when I wouldn't leave the porch. I tried to talk to my father after that. He told me to stop harassing his wife. I told him he didn't even sound like himself anymore. He said, "Maybe I've finally stopped being the man you expect me to be." I left before I said something I'd regret. That was the last time we spoke. 6 months later, I got a call from the hospital. My dad had fallen, broken his hip. He didn't call Diane. He gave them my number. I rushed there. She didn't show up until the next day. For the next 3 weeks, I was the one sleeping in the chair by his bed, feeding him when he was too tired to chew, dealing with insurance forms, driving back and forth. Diane came by twice. Each time she stayed less than 10 minutes. Once she brought him grapes. He can't eat grapes. He's allergic. I kept thinking maybe he'd say something, apologize, reconsider, mention the house. He never did. On his last night, he took my hand, looked at me, and whispered, "You were always good to me. Thank you." Then he closed his eyes. And that was it. The funeral was small. Diane insisted it be private. She said he wouldn't have wanted a big show. She didn't let me speak. She picked the music. Nothing Mom liked. After the burial, I went back to the house to pick up a few of his things. Books, photos, anything left of my childhood. Diane was standing on the porch, arms crossed. She said, "This isn't your home anymore, Nate. Take what you need in 10 minutes. I've got company coming." I walked inside. All the photos with my mom were gone, replaced with pastel paintings and generic quotes like "Lev, laugh, love." My old room, converted into her meditation space. His den, full of boxes marked donation. I took his old watch and a few framed photos from a drawer she hadn't cleared yet. That was all I could carry. It's been a year. I haven't spoken to Diane since. She tried to sell the house twice, but pulled out when the market dipped. I drive past it sometimes. It looks the same from the outside, but it's not home. Not anymore. People tell me I should let it go. They say, "It was his to give," or, "At least you have memories." But memories don't pay bills. Memories don't buy you back the time you lost believing that love and loyalty meant something. He gave away everything, and all I got was a key that doesn't fit. Let me know. Pick a side, right or so wrong.